I have Miss Winona here, and it is actually sunny outside while I'm making a video for once because we are social distancing, which I personally feel like has been rough. This is only like the second day of online classes, and I already feel like I'm going insane. However, the nice thing is I do get to spend a little bit more time in the doll hobby, so that I'm super excited about. And I know it's technically Miles' turn to get an outfit change, but I am super obsessed with his outfit, and I kind of want to change Winona's because it's been getting a little bit warmer outside, which is really nice. And I just want to change her into something a little bit more spring-like. So I have this cute little dress, and it's by Tony Tierney, which I got from Once Upon a Child. These little booties, I don't know why I said boots, and this little white hat to go along with it, and if it doesn't look too ridiculous at the end, I might add this little bow to it as well, just to go along with the red, make it pop a little bit more. So while I am changing Miss Winona today, I wanted to talk about a topic that I know a lot of other people have done, and it's kind of a hot topic in this Reborn community. But what does your significant other think of your dolls, and how did you kind of come out of the closet to them? First off, I just want to say, like, my boyfriend is pretty supportive of the hobby for me, and that's a really wonderful thing because, as I've told you guys, I've been in this Reborn doll community for a really, really long time, ever since I was a preteen, and so every boyfriend that's been serious that I've ever had has known about the dolls, and you definitely get sort of people who are a little bit more supportive of it and people who are a little bit more neutral and don't really care. So I want to get into that more towards the end of kind of like how to break it to your significant other and kind of like what the different reactions are and kind of what's okay and what's probably not okay. So first we're going to go through a whole love story. No, just kidding. But I did want to talk a little bit about how me and my boyfriend met because it's kind of significant when talking about exactly how I introduced the hobby, I guess you could say. So me and my boyfriend were actually friends for probably 3 or 4 months before we actually started dating. And the second time that I ever met, like the second time we've ever seen each other, we went to this sushi restaurant together, and we were just kind of getting to know each other a little bit more as friends, and we started talking about hobbies. And first he asked me kind of just like what your hobbies are, what do you enjoy doing, and whenever people ask me that, I always say art because I feel like it just encompasses everything that I enjoy. Collecting it, obviously, and making art, learning more about art, I just love it in general. So I was kind of talking about that, and I was showing him a couple pieces that I've either drawn or painted before, and he got really excited. He was like, oh, like, I don't paint like that, but I do have a hobby that includes painting. And his particular hobby is, oh gosh, let me like describe this correctly. I feel like I never like describe it. It's tabletop gaming, but he has to like build and paint the models that he uses for the tabletop gaming, if that makes any sense. And there's like a lot that goes into it, like a bunch of storylines and a lot of like imagination and creativity, which is, I think, is really cool. But later on, he admitted to me after like we'd been dating for a little while, yeah, he's like, when I first met you, like, I usually don't really disclose information about my hobby that early because a lot of people think that it's a little bit weird. And so when he said that, I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna make introducing my weird hobby a little bit easier, because if he thinks that his hobby is like a little bit strange, then he'll be a little bit more accepting of my hobby. So I think we had been dating for 2 months, and at that point in time I felt pretty comfortable with him, and so I let him know because he was also eventually going to come to my house and probably see them, and I kind of like to tell people before they actually see them so that it's not like a huge shock and they already know about it, and it's not like a secret that's just been like discovered in this weird way. And so we were kind of getting into hobbies like a little bit more, and I was just like, and he was saying how he like kind of thought his hobby was a little bit odd, and he was kind of asking if it was okay if he like talked about it more, which of course, like I love hearing about other people's hobbies. So and I was just like, oh yeah, like don't worry, like I got weird hobbies too, you know, just kind of like jokingly. And he's like, oh, like what are they? And so I was like, oh, like I I collect art dolls because I really enjoy the way that they look, and I think they're a very beautiful form of art. And then I sent him a picture, and he's like, are you kidding me? That's not a real baby. So he thought they were actually pretty cool, but like also there's kind of that shock value, like, oh, that's a little bit weird at first. And so there was that piece to it, of course. And then when he actually saw the dolls, he like thought that they were very amusing. But obviously, like, if it's not your hobby, you're not going to be interested in doing parts of the hobby. So like he doesn't really have interest in like holding any of my dolls or anything like that, but he is like, he does notice when I get like a new doll, like he notices things about them. He's like, oh, like you put this one in a different spot, and I'm just like, oh, I did. I like didn't think that you would notice something like that. He's actually very observant, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, even now I feel like it's just like we have a mutual respect for each other's hobbies, and even though, you know, I wouldn't want to be a part of his hobby and he wouldn't really want to be a part of mine, we both like hearing about what's going on in each other's lives, and if it's a part of it, you know, then we share it with each other. So it's nice. It's nice to be able to be comfortable enough with someone to be able to share that part of your life with them. And I'm super confused by this dress because this side has like the little piece right here, and this one doesn't. So I wonder like if it fell out or something, probably, but where'd it go? I feel like it was there before. Who knows? It's okay. It looks cute anyway. The sleeves are a little bit hard to get on her, and I think the neckline is a little bit large, but it should be all right. So now I am going to provide a couple tips that were helpful to me kind of in my whole reborn journey, and letting a significant other know about it. And hopefully these tips help you, and if you guys have been in this hobby for a while and have had a lot of experience with this, I want to know kind of like what your significant other thinks of your dolls, and maybe some tips for people who are a little bit newer in the hobby and want to tell their significant other but just are worried or afraid to, or just don't know how to. So I think the biggest thing for me has just always been being comfortable with that person. Same thing with telling friends about the reborn hobby, is you don't want to not know someone very well, and then you tell them this huge piece of your life that maybe you're a little bit self-conscious about, because I know I used to be a little bit self-conscious about being a doll collector. And let's just say you tell someone and they use that information against you in some sort of way, shape, or form. And I feel like that's always been kind of like a fear of mine, like letting a friend know that I didn't know super well yet, and having them like tell the whole school or something when I was like a teenager. And so that was always like a huge worry. And so I feel like going into talking about it with confidence is the biggest piece, because if you're confident about telling that person and you're comfortable with that person, it makes the process super easy. It's not even like a big deal anymore. And let's just say like you get to the point to where you're completely comfortable with this person and you trust them enough to tell them. The first thing I would say is just like don't be on the defense about it when you first get into it. Like a lot of people I've noticed when they're like telling someone about the reborn hobby, they like start out with like, I don't want you to think I'm weird. But like if you already start out with it just being like, something that you're very self-conscious about it, people are going to pick up on that. And then if you think it's weird, then they're gonna think it's really weird. So don't automatically apologize for your hobby, because your hobby is something that you really enjoy and that's something special to you, and so it shouldn't be something that you immediately feel like you have to apologize for, like, oh, like, I'm sorry, like, this is something I just really like, I don't know why, like, just go into it with confidence, you guys, just say it how it is. And be honest about it. Don't be like, oh, like, I don't really like it that much. It's just like something that like I kind of do sometimes. And be honest about what you do in the hobby, because let's just say that this person you get to know really, really well, and eventually they see your Instagram or your Dolly YouTube page or something like that. Like, you don't want them to feel like, oh, like, this person lied to me off the bat and there's actually way more to this. So, when I introduced it as, I really like this art piece and this is what I enjoy doing with them, because a lot of people are curious. They're like, oh, like, do they just sit around? Do you change them? Do you pretend like they're real babies? So I think it's important to just be like, yes, like, I enjoy changing them. I enjoy displaying them. They're a beautiful art piece that's huggable, and that's really cool. So the last piece is that I just kind of want to mention that when I was younger, I kind of fell into is people will accept your hobby, but people aren't necessarily going to want to be a part of the hobby, and that is okay. When I was younger, like, I wanted all my friends to really like the dolls, and I really wanted them to be a part of the hobby with me, but that's not really a thing that a lot of people are going to enjoy, which is why we're on, Instagram or Facebook, is to connect with people who are going to enjoy it with you, because chances are your significant other is not going to want to, like, hold the dolls with you or go and shop for baby clothes. That's just that's not their thing. So I think it's important to kind of be able to separate that. However, the bad signs is if people are making fun of you or saying mean and hurtful things to you regarding the dolls. I think that's a really bad sign. And that's a sign of a very unhealthy relationship. And if your friends or significant other are really mean and horrible to you and pick on you all the time about the dolls, that's not good, because in a good, healthy relationship, I feel like you should be able to be happy and excited about each other's interests, even though they might not be your interests. So it's really good to have balance with that, introduce it, let them know, but don't expect anything to happen afterwards. And she is just looking adorable. I think that's really all I had to say about that topic, and that was kind of a lot to say about that topic. But I think it's important that, that we can comfortably and openly share our hobby with people that we're close to, and it doesn't have to feel like a big secret or something that, like, is wrong or bad, because it's not. So yeah, anyway, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And if you're having some nice spring weather, I hope you're able to go out and enjoy it, even if you are trying to do the whole social distancing thing. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Next time, I promise I'll change miles. All right, everyone. Bye-bye.